Welcome back to part two of how to build a fairy home. Now, in part one, if you're interested in going on the process, is already posted. That's more about the materials, the things you're looking for, and also the intentions behind why you're building it, which is very important. So, I went ahead and did a little extra work on it. You know what I mean, just to speed up the process a little bit, but let's tie this all into what's going on now in the astrological world. We are in a Mercury retrograde, which is about reviewing the past, old contracts, travel or delays in travel, communication, yada yada, right? You can look it up if you're interested. But I say that to say we're getting close to the process of the paper mache. So what I did was I went through all my journals and I took all these old writings that are no longer relevant, things that were just kind of stagnant, you know what I'm saying, to clear the energy. So I ripped them out and I'm going to make them a part of something new. So this is another intention that you could put on top of things is using the old. It's kind of like composting, if you will, you know what I mean, spiritual composting, and using all that for something brand new. All right. So we're recycling not only the materials, but the energy as well. So this could be something you could add into your, you know what I'm saying, into your pot as well. So let's take a look at what I did to this point. Now, if you saw the first one, you know I was talking about putting a change jar here so I could add money into it and creating some kind of system where I could do all that and still retain. So I'm still in that process of what you would call feeling it out. And that's what you really got to do in the first couple of steps. Feel it out and make your mistakes early so that you can amend them. You know what I'm saying? So I showed you the roof the last time, and what I found was a couple of my roommates had threw away two pizza boxes. So I was already looking for a base, and they became the perfect base. I just added them together, so to speak, here at the seams, and then I taped them together, right? So after I taped them together, I still don't throw away the pieces that didn't work. I cut them out in little blocks for later. You don't want to waste anything. What's going on, Brittany? How you feeling, Britt? Brittany vibes in the building. Talented, gifted songwriter and MC in the building. Check out her channel if you get a chance to. It'll be worth it. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, even old pizza boxes, I finally found the shapes that I want for the side of the buildings. But my biggest issue was getting to the change jar. So what I decided to do is, see how I cut all this under here and this little hook to fit into the jar. So let's look at the jar. All I did was cut out the pizza box and made a very snug little spot for it to rest in. So this is where all the change will go, and I can add into it to give my fairy home power. You understand what I'm saying? And it's in the middle of the pizza box, and I still might put a couple of cushions or something in there, but it's pretty steady. So you want to do your testing early. You want to do all your testing early, and I also want to do the interior. So what I have to make sure is that I have a system that I can go in there. So what I'm figuring out is I'm going to have this be kind of like a swivel so I can get in and out of the house, so to speak. So I can get to the change if I need to. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm going to do is reinforce the base as I go and then make it flexible enough where I can open and shut this at will. You know what I mean? I might use the slots of the pizza box as my go in and out, because I'm not going to be doing it often, but I still want it to be sturdy, so I can leave this open. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave that part open for now so I can in and out at will whenever I want to open this thing and check it out, and even just work on it and add on later, right? So let's just take a look at the other part of the ingenuity that you can do with these things. Now, the angel hair boxes for the pasta became the chimney, but it also low-key became the slots. And if you look straight down in there, let's see if I get it down there, it goes straight into the penny jar. So now my next step in this is going to be, how do I make sure the jars go all, I mean the pennies and the quarters go all the way down in there without getting caught on the edges and the sides. Well, for me, I've already figured out that's going to be an easy fix. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take an aluminum can. I'm going to, well, shit, might as well do it now, right? Let's see. A marker is really good, so you can write your notes actually on your stuff as you do it. It'll get covered over later on, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, the Red Baron, you know what I mean? Just cutting and pasting, just being, you know, if I don't like it, I can just use it for something else. If I cut it too small, it's obviously for another part of the house, so I'm not worried about that. And we'll get to the front too, because the front's gonna be live. Because the last one I did was very interactive, meaning there was a lot of activity you could do. There was like little sliding platforms going in and out. There's a lot of ladders in different places that you place in there. Where are my scissors at? Oh, there you go. So just for an example, I'm going to go in on the can. And just cut it out. And again, I'm not throwing anything away until I am finished with it. So I don't want to just cut to be cutting, right? I'm going to put a slit right here. And then I'm going to cut around the base the same way. And what I'm going to do is create a tube for the change. Now this is the test run because it might be too short and I might have to add another one. So these are the things to keep in mind as you go. And all I'm going to do is kind of roll it together in a shape of a funnel. And then this is what I'm going to put in there to make sure that the change goes straight into the jar. You know what I mean? It's not going to get hung up on the sides of the box. And we'll do a little test run on top of it with a piece of change as well. So let's get into it. Yeah, absolutely. Do your thing. This will be posted, so it'll always be around, you know. This is me chronicling my journey in it. And come back later and make those amends. So what we're going to do, we're going to stuff it in here and see if it's going to even work. So let's see. And it looks like it really will. Okay. And I don't really have to tape it because the box itself is going to hold it together. So we'll take a look in there real quick. Let's take a looky inside of the box. So if we look inside now, ooh, get out of there. Get out of there. You'll see that now I have a straight chute going straight down. So let's test it out real quick. Let's see what's going on. Here's my original jar. We'll get a nickel, that 5. We'll get that change here, right? For real, we'll get the change. So let's take a test run. I'm gonna look as best I can. So now I know what's going on in there. It's stuck somewhere. Let me see where it's stuck at. It's only stuck because of this part at the bottom. So I have to really make sure, yeah, we're gonna be rotating and doing all kinds of stuff, so bear with me. Oh, my orientation is locked? All right, well, whatever. We're gonna take this out and see how it drops. So we'll peel this back. I don't want to cut it just yet. And we'll put it back on top with this out, and then we'll give it another go. As soon as I find my nickel. Where I go to my nickel? Where you at, buddy? Okay, here we go. So now we'll line it back up. And let's give it a go. That thing wanna cling on. Alright. So we got our chute. Let's drop it in. And where'd it get stuck this time? Did it get stuck? Yep, it did. It's because the thing is not down far enough. So we push it down and let's reset. So it's a lot of trial and error. Ooh, And now my nickel is lost in the loft. Damn it! So let's get a couple pieces of change out. We'll put it down a little bit further. We'll line it up. And this piece is going to have to go. Now, there we go. It's the straight shot down into there. And now I can see where I have to cut as well. But let's give it another test run. Let's give it another test run. So the hole has to be a little bit bigger. It has to be at least about right there. And let's try it again. See, I have to move it this way and cut the hole a little bit bigger, because you know, if a penny's not going to fit in there, the quarters and the dimes are definitely, I mean, the quarter, there it goes. So now it drops right in, and that'll be the confirmation of the construction. You understand what I'm saying? So we figured out what we need to do moving forward before we do all the fly stuff. Oops. We do all the fly stuff. Everything. All right. So let's turn it around, because let's see the front and how interactive that is going to be after all said and done. So you're not really worried about how stable it is just yet. You want to line yourself up. You want to make your mistakes early. So what I did in the front, as you saw in the first one, was I cut this door out down here. We got the chats down there, so let me swing it down. And we got our door that we're going to put on the hinge. And I lost my door. Well, here's part of it anyway. Looks like the damn Star Trek symbol. But we're going to ideally put this here so it can swing open. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to put a stick and put a hole inside of the pizza box so it can swing, and then attach it to the roof. But I got a drawbridge now that'll wedge right in there, and eventually it'll hold. I'll probably put something different there, but when I want to tighten the energy up, I'll close it. But when I open it, I'll have a nice drawbridge that goes down, and then whatever else I want down here. So this is going to be part of the interaction. So I have to cut this to the size and the shape and everything. But we're just getting things lined up. That's all you really want to do, is start to get the things lined up that are going to be movable. Even this is not in yet. I can take this in and out anytime I want, and then line it up with this right here. I can even push it to the side to make it tighter so it holds eventually, because I want it to be able to stand on its own without me doing anything extra like that. So that would be a good lineup for it. And then I'll really reinforce the front of here, all this right here, so it'll be steady. So I can do all the flipping if I have to without it coming apart. So that's going to be the next stage of this, really, is to really reinforce the front of this, and also the work inside of the Red Baron part, because it's still open space under here. So I might cut something out so I can get inside of here. Well, let's do that now. How about that? I can show you better than I can tell you. So let's keep the basic shape of a triangle. And perhaps I have a little swinging door or a window here after all is said and done, so that I can look into the loft and do any work in there that I need to do. And you see it go straight across. There's another board going across, so it's like an attic. And we're going to cut some more holes as well on the tops of these for little chimneys and roofs and things of that nature. So that's an easy fix. All we're going to do is pick certain items that fit the mold, like this can and the paper towel wrap. I've already cut it at an angle so that it sits. But what I'm going to do now is cut into here so that it can sit in there real tight without me having to hold it. And simply, you just get a marker, you line it up, put a circle around it where it's going to be potentially. And then all I'm going to do is make sure when I cut it that I cut the inside, on the inside of the black lines to make it really tight. And just to play with it, I'm going to do the same over here with this can. I'm going to have like another tower right here. It'll be about right here. About right here. Because I don't want to cut into that crease and have to do repair on that. So this will just sit right down in there later on. I'll just cut again with this. And the best tool you can have for stuff like this is your razor, your straight razor. So you can just get the first feel for it. Kind of poke into it. Go around the edges. And that's why I'm glad I made this little window, because now I can put my hand inside and hold it. So I'm going to cut it a little bit bigger on this side that we just did. So I get my hand inside. So now I can brace against the box inside so I don't ruin anything by accident. And then really I can push into it now. So you want to give yourself a lot of room to move and navigate while you're doing it. And your structure issues will unfold naturally so that you can amend them. And I want to do this pretty much right the first time, so I don't have to go back and do it. So just take your time with it. I'll pull this out, then I'll make it easy and just cut across. Pull this up a bit. And since I already got the crease, it'll tear out very easy. And then this makes this part a lot easier. I can trim this out with the razor. And then we'll keep it tight first before we overextend the circle. Make sure you don't cut yourself. I done nicked myself quite a few times. And now we have our circle. So once we got the circle, now we can fit to see if it's going to fit in there, and it's not right away. But what if I crush the can a little bit? Or even just took the base out. But I don't want to do that because I want it to be solid. I want it to sit inside. So now I got to see it. I'm going to cut down just a little. Just a little bit. And if you got questions on this, you're free to put them in the comments during or after the live. I'll do my best to answer as we go through this process. I figure this will be about maybe 8 videos long. But I'm going to do a lot of the legwork in between as an update. And now we'll see if we can fit it in there. Reach inside. And I don't mind it being tight, and it is tight, because just screwing this around will allow me to do that. So now I have it set. It's not quite sideways yet as I would like it to be, but maybe I'll leave it like that. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I'll leave it like that. But what I really want to do is arch it upwards like that. Perfect. So now I have a little spare room or a tower. I'll put a cap on top of it, something like this, just to cap it off. Create a nice little dome, make it like a house and a castle kind of thing at the same time. So that's the basic thing you're gonna do with it. And if it's in there like that, pretty solid, all I have to do is kind of tape it in there. And then when I get the paper mache, it'll really hold it into place. So I'm not worried about that part right now. I just want to get the particulars set up, okay? So this is part 2 of building a fairy home, or making something out of nothing. What is abundance truly in your life? You know what I'm saying? All week I've been finding abundance of materials just in the recycle bin in the house. So as the week goes on, I'll just be on the lookout for more materials, and in the meantime, be strengthening the structure as I go with more pieces of cardboard or whatever I feel is strong enough to hold this in place. Because you can see it's starting to rip. So now it's showing me where the integrity is compromised. And this would be a great time to fix all of this that's coming apart now. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, I want this whole top part to flip open so I can get at the change. If I feel like I need to change the jar when it gets full. Things of that nature. So you're looking ahead to anything that you might have as far as an issue. And what we're going to do next is really amend the inside. So I'm going to cut this out, and I'm going to make sure that this really sits, especially the tube, to extend inside of the jar. That's what I'm going to do next, to make sure that that change gets down there. So it's just little things like that. Hey Michelle, how you doing? It's just little things like that that are really going to make it pop at the end. So once the base is done and all that, then I'll start playing with the backyard, and this will probably be where more of the interactive stuff happens. And just to give you an example, what you could do would be something as simple as, let's get a box. Maybe for rituals or offerings, we'll set the intention for it like this, right? Maybe I'll have this here, just as an example, and I'll put a peg inside, and then when I really want to open it up, oops, get back, get out of there. I'll let it be able to hinge outwards to extend from the pizza box, so it becomes a bigger piece of property, you know what I'm saying? If I put it over here, maybe it'll hinge outwards like such, and now I have an extension, and then be able to swivel it in and out at will to create space, to extend it, and give this an intention. Maybe this will be something that holds crystals or something like that, maybe even a little bit smaller if I fold it like such. But this is where you really want to play with it. And then maybe a ramp down here coming out of the pizza box to ground it here, so it'd be like, the fairies can drive up kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? Maybe even another drawbridge as a form of protection. And now that I'm thinking about it, I'm probably going to put like some lions or some gargoyles here to kind of protect the energy in the front and the back. So I'm thinking ahead, you know what I'm saying? And for that, I'll probably use something like maybe some wood or some clay, little figurines, because I did that with the other one. I carved out a few heads and stuff like that, just to give you an example of something like this that you can move around. So when you do that, you can have this here, you know what I'm saying, to guard it, or you can move them around, or even just figures to go throughout the thing to give it that feel, you know what I mean? So it's coming along. I'm gonna have to find heavier pieces of cardboard for the inside to make the wall structure a lot tougher. You can use tape, you can use scissors. I don't like glue at this point because that can come off very easy. But when I put the paper mache on top of the tape and the scissors, it'll really hold it into place after I get everything figured out, okay? So just go along with the process and have fun with it. Don't be so caught up in the results, because oftentimes these start to take on a life of their own, especially when you're tapped into fairy energy. They'll kind of whisper what you need to do next. And like, even the part I just cut off with the can looks really nice for something. I can put it down here as a base where I can put my characters or something like that. Or this could be like where I burn my candles, because it's metal. It won't burn, you know what I'm saying? And that's another thing you just gotta put forward. If you're going to do stuff on this like ritualistic, you want to burn something, you got to make sure there's a place for it so it doesn't burn the whole place down. You know what I mean? Fuck around, light your whole house up with all this paper and whatnot. So this is a good base for something like that, or you can put your crystals here or anything like that. But it's all about the imagination and what you want to create at this time. What purpose is it serving? Besides just to have the rapport, you're really building a rapport with the fairy realm when you do this. You know what I mean? You're inviting the energy in such a way, and it's all just symbolism at the end of the day. It's not like really fairy energy like we see it depicted. We're talking about quantum energy. You feel me? You're inviting it in. It's like feng shui. And just to reiterate, because it's Mercury retrograde, use old stuff. These are old notes that I don't need anymore that are going to be recycled to build the new. So this is a great way to gather materials. I went through a couple of my notebooks and I got all these pages. They're like do-overs and just little scribblings that are either already in something else or, you know what I'm saying? But Mercury retrograde energy. Let's clean out the old kind of stuff, you know what I'm saying? And find a way to reuse it instead of just casting it out. So I'm getting a nice big bag here of what's going to be used for the paper mache, and that's going to be really important because once that hardens, it'll really give this structure form and hold it in place. And then after that, we're just going to paint over top of it and put all the little details. You know, this will be like a brick, a semi-brick walkway at the end of the day or something. Or it could be just a piece of tile to make this look like you know, like somebody had been up there with a staple gun and just click them into place, get a whole bunch of these right here. So don't waste anything when you do this. Just keep it all until you're finished. Like here's another one. And then for this, to make it look like a real legitimate roof, I'll just stack them on top of each other. I'll put this layer down first, and then I'll put this layer on top of it. And now you got that kind of wood feel, you know, right on top of each other. So just really dream, play with it, have fun with it. It'll come to you as you walk the process. Not think it, but walk it. You know what I mean? So that's what I have for y'all today. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, wherever you're at. And I will talk to you guys later for part 3. All right?